Here, we're getting pretty good. And hello again, everyone. Welcome back to P10 Racing TV. We're live here tonight, here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Here as we bring you guys another showing of the Rev Limit Racing Series, as they will do battle here tonight at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. This will be a playoffs race, and it's definitely going to be a contenders race to say the least here on who is going to be able to outdo who and when it comes to the racing series. So we're going to get them all situated out here. We're going to share the group on around real quick. So if you guys hear me quiet here for just a minute here, we're just currently getting everything situated here, ready to go. Does take us a minute or two. It's been definitely a strong race series, been a strong action-packed adventures of weeks to come. A lot of times we've seen these guys come out here and battle it on through, really showcasing what they can do and what they have at their disposal. And to me, it's definitely been more a kind of a showing on like what exactly can be done for these drivers and what exactly can be brought on, as we'll have some company here in a minute. Jay Love, or Jordan as you know him before, he will be joining us back here in the comments in the chat here in just a minute as we share us on around here real quick, folks. We do ask at home if you guys could be sure to like and share us up and subscribe here on YouTube. Also go over to Facebook, follow us there for the exclusive iRacing series and some other series we do out there. But of course, you don't just get Rev Limit Racing League here on here. You also get a lot of other drivers that are part of our series and part of our league that will be joining in for other things. So you also see drivers like you'll see broadcasts, of course, like the Green Mountain Grills Truck Series for the Fast and Cup Series and for the Fast and Fun Truck Series, and that is done exclusively here on YouTube as well. So you don't just get one over the other, you get multiple stuff here. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at the track here tonight before we get into this action-packed tonight. We're just currently getting the rest of our shares on around so we can bring drivers in and bring folks in so that we are ready for this one here. J Love has now joined us in the chat finally. J Love, it's good to have you on board here, bud.
Yes, sir. I get off work later these days.
Yep, so we have noticed, but we're going to go ahead real quick and we're going to take a quick lap around here, down around New Hampshire Speedway. So let's go ahead and kind of talk it through real quick in these Cup Series and what they're going to be battling here. So unlike Martinsville and Bristol, which are more short tracks, this is more of a long track stead. But it has kind of the style of what you would have on Martinsville. So you see these drivers really kind of playing around to the outside, to the wall as close as they can. And obviously, as you can see, I'm kind of struggling already a little bit. They'll try to hit into this corner here, right around out of turn 3 and 4. They'll try to stay as low as they can to the yellow line and try not to let it get too far in there. You'll generally see them kind of play more in the outside of the middle because there is a little treacherous section there. If you get a little too hard on it, it can get you loose, and it will play into your mind. So there are two lines really you can hit here, which makes for some awesome racing or some hard crashes. J-Love, what do you got to say on that, buddy?
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the nail there. You definitely don't want to go into turns 1 and 3 too hard, and you'll just slide right up the track and into the upper groove where you don't want to find your car.
Yeah, it definitely can send you for a little bit of a loop and a little bit of a ride. And the biggest thing here is just kind of taking your time and taking your tempo around and making sure you got a good run off of the exit there. Of course, this does read the magic mile, so it definitely is going to be all about, you know, trying to make sure you lay your line down and make sure you hit your spots incorrectly, or you're going to pay the price. But like I definitely say right now, just kind of showing all the fans at home like how to run this track. It's definitely not an easy track to master, much less an easy one to try and run on. But as we get ready to go here, looks like we're getting word from our boys over at Rev Limit that the officials are calling for everyone to join us in, so we will head over there right now and get ready to go.
77 won the pole there, Chris.
All right. He is the pole setter for tonight, so Matt Parkhurst, I believe that is a 77, will take home the pole here at New Hampshire. That will definitely play into the factor The drivers are going for 150 laps on this track, so this should be relatively a pretty quick race. Not a long race, but you know, in New Hampshire, sometimes you get the good racing, and then sometimes you can get kind of a little bit of a mix in with some trouble there. So we'll see what happens for these drivers, but knowing Rev Limit, they'll always put on a show.
Yeah, it only takes about 2 laps for a mistake.
That is definitely the case and definitely true there. But, you know, we've kind of noticed with the before us, too, is that these guys are also working towards a playoff berth, you know, into the final Champion 4. So really, it's going to be all about who can play who and who can outsmart the other driver here and what they're going to be able to do with this. But, you know, there's a lot of work at hand. There's a lot at stake. You know, these drivers are going to give it everything they can if it means to win.
Yes, we have already. CJ Creaky has advanced on points. The 77 car, as y'all recall, he dominated last Monday at Darlington. And then for the race that wasn't on your channel, but it was on mine at Bristol, I do believe Enough Said dominated that race. And he lapped the whole field there. Everybody was a lot done at the end of that race, Chris.
It's going to be interesting to see how Parkhurst is able to kind of go off that wave of success for him in this case, because he's had a lot of great moments and a lot of great runs out there, but now can he close in and close on the finish here, because, you know, he's not exactly locked into this one here. So as we bring him on around, we're getting all situated out and get ready to go here. We're just kind of getting everybody taken care of and figured out. And we have the invite. We are just waiting for confirmation, as you've seen there, folks. Watch it. Don't worry, folks. We don't have to blurb that one out.
I still have to join the race.
You joined the race again?
Yeah.
That happens. Alright, now we're good to join here, folks. So let's go ahead on down and see what they've got in store for us here tonight. So as we get them all situated out here, we're ready to go. We're heading down live. It's time to go green and time to see what will it be. Who is going to take home the gold and who is going to survive? Marcelo Elio has joined us in. He's saying go, go, go up on the chat. Thank you, Marcelo, for joining us on in. Hopefully we get some more folks in here and get a good show in for everybody. I know these Rev Limit boys would love nothing more than to have a lot of company here and a lot of times here. So here we go. We're heading on down. As you see, the Foxwoods Resort Casino 301 will showcase these drivers in all their glory right on this very unique, very tight and tough to master track. Here we go. Green flag flies high in the air for Parkhurst and the 20 of Abel off the start. They'll bring it on down around out of turn 1. Back down into turn 2 they go here. That Ouzel boy is already a little bit loose as he gets it on down on turn 1. They bring him on down to turn 2 too. They bring it on through, and CJ Creaky yet again at war there with Abel. How many times we said that on the chat here before?
Too many times to count.
Indeed, indeed. Right on around out of turn 3 now, back down out of turn 4, and Morgan in that 17 machine gets a little bit loose there, but he's able to steal the line, but we've got a caution already. You had to say 2 laps, and they didn't even get a lap in because of that. Trouble for that Ouzel boy, damage high end on the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet number 9 there.
Yeah, as you noted earlier, he was getting loose. You definitely don't want to come to New Hampshire with a loose setup, because when you start losing your rear, you have no security in a turn, and you end up spinning around like the 9 car just did. That
definitely is the case here, and it definitely has shown in before in times past. But you know, going into tonight's event, I can tell you that a lot of drivers have been probably setting up for more of a kind of a middle of the road tight setup on the start, and then as the time goes down, they'll burn up a lot quicker. Now, what's the reasoning for that? Well, folks, here's the thing. When you set it up tight, that means it has to loosen up over time. So if you set it up tight at the start, as time goes on, the car gets in there a little bit more. It gives you about a middle of the road where you can finally start jumping the gun harder and get the run just like Parkhurst did right off the start here as he battles it on in with that 42 machine. On around down now, a 3 wide salute, initiated on around out turn 2. They go back on in. You can see the one of enough said getting in there with the 42. Miller time, whoa, outside of that back straightaway though. They're up and at him here. They are fighting through this one.
Yeah, I do believe the 42 took a 2-tire stop there, so that's why he's just nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go, nowhere to be, but right now he still seems like he's hanging in there. He still works him on down that back straightaway here. I gotta believe he must have done at least something to the setup though, because they are running on presets for those wondering at home, which allows them to adjust the car to their liking, and that seems to be helping out in Morgan there in the 17. He's now finally hunted down Matt Parkhurst in that Avon Help 77 machine.
Yeah, see, it looks like the 17's got a really good target line.
He seems to have indeed. He seems to be really working it through. But well, I'll ask you real quick though, J Love, as we see in Morgan here working on down, brings on down that front straightaway down turn 1, down in turn 2. You can see how wide he gets there, but brings it closing it back in hard, run through there. What exactly makes? Oh, as he goes right in the wall there out of turn 2, that slows him down tremendously. Hey, Bale and CJ Creaky making big jumps around him there.
So yeah, so
go ahead, bud.
So normally, we call it a diamond. You want to make a big flat diamond on this turn. So you go up high or to the middle of the lanes in 1 or 2, so you can drive it as straight as possible to get into the backstretch. Did you see how much speed the 17 car before he hit the wall had coming out of the corner?
He had a lot of speed, but unfortunately it was not able to be because he ended up getting a little too tight there on the exit, and that cost him dearly. But as he works on down around CJ Creaky, made a pass around the 77 of Matt Parkhurst. Parkhurst is charging hard here.
20 is right behind the 51. 20 gets way too high there.
He did indeed there. He was trying to angle it in, like you said earlier, with the diamond, and it's not quite working to his satisfaction. He brings on down that back straightaway.
That's a great drive off. See that he made a bit too big of a diamond to me, but that's exactly the purpose, as you've seen the 20 just drive right on by the 77 off exit.
The one thing I do like about the Magic Mile when you run it here is that there are multiple lines and multiple ways to progress, but really considering what you have to do and what you have to deal with around here, it's all about timing and how you set that car up off the end. And you can see right there, Parker's now trying to take a page out of the CJ Creaky Haybill and Morgan book, trying to go to the outside and swing it to the diamond, as you mentioned earlier. We bring it on down turn 3 here, good then turn 4. Haybill's a little bit looser out of turn 4. He ends up getting right into the wall there, and Creaky makes him pay for it.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah, Parker's now bringing.
Haybill has just been plagued with mistakes over the last 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah, definitely agree with that there. He seems like he had a good start off the runs, and then all of a sudden, like, everything has just not gone his way, or he's just made too many errors in how he hits his corners or how he hits the turns, and it's definitely been slowing him down. I feel like ever since Eldora, that's when he's really started kind of losing momentum and ground up from where we saw him originally, because when he first started, I mean, he was doing exactly what he's doing right now, which is absolutely charging hard and up to the front here out at turn 1, down turn 2 he goes. Down and about out of there, he gets it down the back straightaway here. He's got a run on him as CJ Creaky gets a big lick there from the 77 of Matt Parkhurst. Parkhurst is going to have to try and figure this one out here.
Yeah, yes. He's from what I've seen, is the 77 is using too much front brake going into these turns, and it's working through the middle of the group, but he's just losing so much time exit. And he is causing the tires to get hot, which is going to wear fast. In about another 15-20 laps, he's going to be having trouble steering this car because it's going to be so loose because he has no tires.
Perhaps maybe you can explain the whole difference between conservation on tires to burning up tires and what that does to the car, although you can just kind of mention a little bit of it there.
Yeah, so generally you don't want to start off on a run and go 100% because your tires get hot, and the hotter your tires get, the more they wear. So of course NASCAR tires don't have tread, but what it does is kicks up rubber from the grooves onto the tire, and it makes them slick. So the slower you run them, the less time it takes to heat them up. And it gives you more grip towards the end of the run.
Indeed it does, and right in the back stretch, that Ouzel boy and them getting into it there, and unfortunately calling for a caution. A lot of drivers involved in that one. They're the 11 of Wolf 2's 9-0-2012 in Morgan in the 17, Kevin Baker in that 87, and enough said, the 1 unfortunately all involved in that one, and it looks like RY85 is also in pit road right now. I'm not sure if he's getting cleaned up or fixed up, but he definitely had a lot of damage up on the machine.
Yeah, he was off the pace about 3 laps ago. So I think he's just coming down for what was going to be maybe a scheduled pit stop before the caution came out. So he comes away with a breaker because he would have been 2 laps down.
He definitely
pit road speed's 35.
He definitely would have been indeed, but it looks like he'll be okay there and he'll get everything situated out. He is back out on the track, so he is ready to go. As we bring it on through, Parkhurst will have to do battle of hay bale there once again. We are just under 20 laps left in stage 1. We've got about quite a few left in stage 2, obviously, but as they bring him on down that front straightaway yet again, it's a hard charge up to the front.
Yes, now this will be a time where your driver has about 20 to go in the stage. You'll see him start putting more and more on them, especially that they all pitted and they all got fresh tires.
Definitely the case there. Parkhurst now battles in with hay bale. Hay bale plays a different line than Parkhurst. Parkhurst goes inside, swings it on around as a 3 wide. So now 4 wide there out of turn 4. And Morgan, CJ Creaky, Miller Time, and Wolf getting into that one there. They all come out clean. Nice job in driving on their end. That's not easy to do on New Hampshire of all things.
It definitely is not. I don't that top car that went 4 wide there. There's so much dirt and debris. I'm surprised he was able to hold on and not spin the thing out.
One thing you definitely will see around here is that if they can figure out how to get the throttle control in there, they can make some great moves, and I've seen it time and time again here on P10 Racing TV. We've called it as well. I think we even talked about it when we were on our podcast for Pedal to Metal, was just the times that you'd have a 3 wide or a 4 wide salute, they would hold it, and it would literally just be the race right there. That's all you really needed to know, is just how many times can you hold it, and then how many times would you get in trouble and then lose yourself points. In this case, these drivers not really too worried about points here. They're more worried about trying not to get into troublesome territory, as the number 1 of Enough Said gets a nice little lick and a half there to the wall. Gave it a big old kiss, and it looks like he's going to have some damage up on that right side for a while.
Yeah, he's going to have to drive over this until he can pit. He's going to lose a lot of time. The air on that, the air would not like that machine being like that, nor would the machine like the air.
No, it would not indeed. And Parkhurst works it on down out of turn 2 here. He brings it on by. Here comes Haybale now on the 20 of the hard charge to the inside. Down around out of turn 3, brings it on in. Parkhurst tries to diamond. Then the 20 there of Haybale tries to battle it on in. They can't quite get it there. Parkhurst can't quite get back on that run, and Haybale makes him pay.
Yeah, Haybale's just too good to just make a mistake like that.
Definitely in this case. 15 laps left in this one. Parkhurst goes below the yellow line. Not an official call there, but I think that will kind of land him in some hot water if he got around Haybale there later. But nonetheless, they bring him on down around RY85 and then 18. We got on board camera of him right now. He's falling in the back of the pack here, trying to get up there with his fellow Conrads. But he's got a long way to go as a 3 wide salute initiated yet out of turn 4 yet again with Miller Time and Morgan and CJ Creaky battling on through here.
Yeah, these guys are beating and begging towards the back of the pack.
There definitely are, but I mean up front right now too, they're giving quite a run there. I mean, Parkhurst has not left Haybale's side. Haybale has not left his side either. They just continue to get at one another here as the McDonald's McDelivery number 42 right now is trying to stay in this one and try and keep his 3rd place spot. He needs a little bit of a field day, if you will, to help kind of make up for the time he's had in these other races.
I'll tell you what, right now, that 42 car is a 20 car's best friend for holding that 51 back as long as he's had.
Definitely in this case, but I gotta also think that Parkhurst is also kind of being a little bit of an annoyance or a nuance to what Haybale wants to do right now, because Haybale knows, whoa, needs to get into this one a little bit more as Miller Time gets right in there with CJ Creaky as they battle it on out of turn 4. He'll hold him off a little bit longer here. Creaky's now going to have to try and fight him off here. It's a Chevrolet versus the Toyota battle here as they bring it on down around out of turn 1, back down turn 2. Still yet again another battle for the lead. War Daddy is indeed in the walls. A 3 wide salute initiates. Enough Said in the 1, makes his move on around. The RY85 19 machine makes a big pass on around as well. These guys are just driving in too hard, and they're continuing to throw 3 wides at one another, and a 4 wide there out of turn 4, but they hold it clear. A little bit of bumping, and Enough Said gets a tag. He is spun on around.
I have to believe he is really upset with the 19, the way he just pushed him right into the corner and then takes it 4 wide right there.
I gotta believe
love
there's
to
gonna
hear
be a
the
few
radioactive
words.
for that.
I wouldn't run on a radioactive. I wouldn't want to hear any words from them for a while. I'd be just trying to figure out how to get back in this race. That's Haybell in that 20 machine right now. He is absolutely pulling on this one away from Matt Parker's. Haybell has not been in victory lane for quite a while. Well, now he seems to be wanting to change that. He's getting it on down out of turn 2 here. He's got himself some serious momentum built up as CJ Creaky finally gets the Hot Rod Rowdy number 51 Toyota Camry around that 42 of Miller Time. Miller Time is just continuing to bring it through and actually showcase what he is capable of.
Yes, he is. He did go all there a little bit, so that's why he just got so slow off the pace. Yeah, he was definitely touching the 51 car, that's for sure, because the 51 is just on the way.
He definitely has indeed right now. The real life Jeff Long right now currently working on through as he has to initiate another 3 wide salute there with the 17 of it. Morgan out of turn 2, they get into it. These guys back and forth, back and forth. Neither driver wants to quit, neither one wants to give, but the thing is, as much as we've actually seen New Hampshire pull off some incredible showcases and races, this is honestly going to hurt their chances more if they keep battling up to try to get up to the front. Now, granted, stage-wise, I know they probably want to get just some extra bonus points and some time in, but you got to think that Miller Time does not want that. He just wants to try and survive this one as he gets right in there with some drivers, and unfortunately, spins it on down around that back straightaway.
The 42 was upside down.
He's up in the grass right now, and unfortunately not where he wanted to be. He was fighting hard and fighting long, but unfortunately he's ended up a little bit loose for wear and worse for wear as he continues on downhill around the front straightaway we go. Well, that Oozle boy has got some serious damage on that 9 machine. The aerodynamics on that thing's not going to be doing so well.
No, it is not. They're praying. Got 2 more laps to go, about 14.
RY85, man, I'll tell you one thing. He's getting into war daddy here in that team, the Beast number 8 machine. I'm not sure if RY is just backing off not enough, or maybe War Daddy is just backing off too much, and RY is not able to really catch it. But definitely a difference in how they want to run their line and how they want to run their race. There's definitely going to be a lot of beating and banging, that's for sure. You would never see that in iRacing though, folks, because the only thing is that when you're running on that, is that it's a legit simulation field that actually will burn that car in and actually destroy a lot of your front end if you try that. Whereas with the arcade style NASCAR heat, they are allowed to do that and they are capable of doing it. But they gotta be a little bit careful when they get into those corners though, because you can still send your car for a ride. As Jeff Long and that number 6 machine Castro is trying to work on down around that 19 Bass Pro Shops of RY85. RY is just trying to defend him off, but he can't quite get him off his tail end.
No, he can't. That was a beautiful block there, put off by both 8 on the turn earlier, and then the 19 on 6.
Bring him on down around. The real Jeff Long has a bit of a momentum run and a bit of a kick. You could say he's got the full throttle assault coming his way, but RY will not leave him alone here. Bring him on down around, crossover, slingshot, slide through, and they bring it on back down around the real Jeff Long, and they're at turn 2.
This is a really good battle. I think this might be the only battle we have on track right now.
At the moment it is. Unfortunately, Haybell and Matt Parker's right now kind of gone their own separate ways. Our battle currently still going through here for the top 10. Right now this is a battle in the top 6 or 7, I believe, right now. As a real light Jeff Long is just trying to stay ahead of RY85 and that 19, but RY right into the wall. That's definitely going to slow him up a bit.
Yes, it will. It just gives ground for that 6 just going by with no trouble.
No trouble indeed. Definitely seems to be his way to go here as we move it on through. War Daddy right now chasing up on the leaders here in the front stuff. Haybell in that 20 still has the race lead with only one lap left to go here out of stage 1. This could be a telling of the tale here. We'll see how it goes here as War Daddy and the 6 gets right in there, and Wolf spins it on back as well. Caution not called. I don't know if the flagman's not got a pair of binoculars on or what. There we are. That ends the stage. Well, if you guys want to know who the top 5 was, we got Haybell, Creaky, Parkhurst, and Morgan, and RY85 rounding out your top 5. That's definitely not the top 5 way they wanted to do it, but we will move into stage 2 here and see how this one plays out. That was definitely some hard runs and some hard momentum earlier. We'll see how this one plays out for him.
I want to point out one thing. You've seen the 51 was stuck by behind the 42 in 6th, and he drove his way up to 2nd when he got around that 42 car.
It's hard to believe it.
That shows you how fast he is.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It appears we have a little bit of strategy. 69 and Kevin Baker just didn't pit, so be careful.
I don't think there's anything careful about that. Yeah, the 87, Kevin Baker gets out of the way. He lets him on through as they battle on through, but I don't think Haybale wanted to see that because here comes CJ Creaky. And then Morgan now brings it on through for the 3-wide salute for the early lead. They hold it, and they keep it clear out of turn 2. They go. Now they'll bring him on back in, and that Ouzel boy is on a hunt. The 19 of RY85 brings it on through as well. He's looking for some challenge up here in the spotlight. He wants to get that going. A 3-wide salute initiates between RY Wolf and Parkhurst. Parkhurst trying to get out of trouble. Miller time pushes Parkhurst into the 4-wide salute already down that front straightaway. They close the gap, and Parkhurst stays in the throttle. Miller backs off and straightens it out, while RY kind of gets off the throttle a little bit and tries to stabilize it. Man, these guys are hard hitting and are throwing it all over the place here, but they are wanting to throw the haymakers to end this season off the right way.
Yes, I don't know what you gain by racing this aggressive in lap 1 of stage 2, but this is how they want to race it. It's fun for us to watch.
That's always fun to watch, but yeah, I mean, that's one thing you got to understand, folks, is that they want to play aggressive. They want to do this. I mean, sometimes it's better to be more aggressive than it is to lighten up and not really do what you need to do to get into position. But I can definitely tell you, I think right now they're probably thinking that because there's so many people driving them right into the wall like War Daddy in the 8, that honestly they're probably just going to end up burning up more tires and more crashes are going to happen. So they're thinking more along the lines of a very, very short run to the caution stages than they are trying to actually work in a full-on linked race. And that could be the case.
Yes, it very much well could be. Me personally, I wouldn't use my stuff up this early in the run. But we get paid to talk about what they're doing, not what we would do.
So I was about to say, we can add stuff in there that we do, but the 42 Miller time getting right in there with Wolf 29 in the 11 machine. Almost, if you would, almost pulled a Kenseth on Logano there, but this time it's not in Martinsville.
Yes, there is some bad blood already in this field from a week ago, or from Thursday night's race.
Mind explaining maybe like what is going on down there? Like where did the bad blood begin with?
Yes, so for those of y'all that didn't watch the race, the 8 car was leading, and he was a good 3.5 seconds ahead of everybody. He was coming up on Kevin Baker in the 87 car, who was 3 laps down at the time, and then Kevin Baker just turned left and completely wiped the 8 car out, and that ruined his chances. He ended up finishing, I think, 11th that race because of that.
So that knocked War Daddy out of the playoffs race entirely, unfortunately, because of the incident there. And I hate saying it, but you know, that's one thing with racing you have to be very careful of, is just some folks always remember what they do and some folks just will not leave things alone. And unfortunately, War Daddy just ended up kind of on the wrong end of that stick. But you know, nonetheless, right now as they're bringing it on down here, you've seen a lot of drivers there, as he was talking, kind of battling through and kind of getting into one another there, and War Daddy was definitely a part of that. But right now, in my opinion, everybody seems to be stabilizing and keeping it, for the most part, clean as they get it figured out here as they're working on down around.
Yeah, that 20 car is he's just too fast right now. I think the 2-week break for the 51 car, you know, has caused some performance drags.
It might have indeed, because Matt Parker's in that 77 machine just made a huge jump over from 4th now into 2nd. He got around some drivers there, and he's starting to build up some momentum. He's had to start from the back of the pack here, from the outhouse, if you will, straight into the White House, and he's definitely giving it quite a show here and quite a run here.
Yes, he didn't do so hot in Bristol, but I want to touch on one thing. The 8 car of War Daddy's not out of it yet. Points-wise, yes, but he could very much come away with a win tonight and jump his way into the next round.
Well, that's one thing we always say when it comes to these playoff races is that it's not necessarily that they just want to, you know, have the points race in their favor. They also want to just get a win in it when they can, because honestly, it's the end of the season. They're running low on time. Sometimes you just got to have a little fun with it and try to get that win as they go 3 wide down that front straightaway yet again. RY85, Jeff and the 6 there have enough said getting into it there as that Oozle boy pops up a little bit and loses momentum. Oh, and a little love tap there from enough said, but he's able to stabilize and get it situated out.
Yeah, yes, as you say, yeah, he was able to do it. I don't think he's presently happy with just getting beat and banged around back there.
No, definitely not the case in here as they're working on down out of turn 4 here. Enough said, building up momentum, trying to get something going here. For that GW machine, the gear wrench working on through here, trying to get up there to that Bass Pro Shops Toyota Camry of RY85, but RY has just been on his own and on a roll, just kind of doing his own thing here. I think honestly, if there's a driver to watch out for, it's obviously Hay Bale when it comes to the race, but when it comes to the battles here, I'd say RY has kind of been the guy that's kind of, in my opinion, thrown his weight around, kind of throwing it in there when he needs to.
Yeah, and he's also doing it when he don't need to, which is making a lot of guys hot under the collar.
We could definitely agree there, know what it's like there on the track and when that happens, but with 42 laps remaining in this one here. Whoa, a little bit of trouble there for the 11. Wolf, he's in trouble though. He's in the wall in the backstretch. Seems to got it cleared out and okay. Kevin Baker has already headed down into pit side here as they're working on down RY85 now, trying to challenge up with the 6 machine right behind him here, going on through that front straightaway.
Yeah, we have the 87 car coming off of pit road. Don't know what the strategy call for that was.
Mainly just probably just trying to get up pressure set tires, maybe get cleaned up after the damage. But you keep in mind he was out there beforehand, so he probably actually may have ran out of fuel as well. So there's could be a lot of things here that could have gone wrong for him.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Yes, he did not pit, so most likely ran out of fuel.
Definitely indeed. Right now they bring it on through here, and they are just absolutely hard charging and doing what they can here. They're doing everything they can just to stay in this one. But in Morgan, in the 17, he's always a hard charger and hard racer, but even though he's pretty much kind of locked in to get into the next few times, he's still got to at least have some decent finishes if he wants to really make a change and make it work in to get to the top 4, because the top 8's one thing, but top 4 is a completely different story for him.
Yeah, I think the 17's locked in on points. He's had a top 5 finish in every race so far this round, so I don't think he's too much worried about being eliminated tonight. Although a win would definitely make him feel at home and at peace with himself, but at least he has the comfort to know, hey, I'm most likely not going to get eliminated, so I can call the race to win and not to get in on points.
Definitely can agree with that one there. The real Jeff Long and the number 6 Castrol machine has that. Number 1 enough said battling on through with the 87 to Kevin Baker on a fresh set of tires, a fresh cleanup. Kind of situated out there. But Matt Parkhurst, the 77, has spun it on around there. Trouble here for him. I'm not sure what happened there, but he was spun on and about, and that definitely is going to set him back even further here in this one.
Yes, it is. You definitely don't want to spin out this early to the stage. It appears, what I think, he was driving too aggressively on the tires the first part of the run, and they just got too hot and too slick. So now he spun himself out. Now he's going to have to pull the ball and get a little bit more grip.
That 42 Miller Time 20 machine right now, kind of holding his own there with the Moore Daddy number 8. The Tame the Beast machine is still quite hard on the throttle. Obviously, War Daddy's been trying desperately to get back into the hunt after what happened with him there from Kevin Baker, as you mentioned earlier, but at this point he's just kind of looking for that race win.
Yeah, yes he is. Hay Bale's in another zip code right now.
I would say he's in there in state right now, if anything. He's currently just flying by these guys. He's just giving everything he's got. CJ Creaky's definitely hanging in there, but, you know, this right now is the Hay Bale show. He's just got this one locked up. That's why we don't have a lock on him right now. Camera-wise, we always try to find the action here. Miller Time battling it in there. War Daddy in that 8 machine. As in, Morgan now looks to take advantage of that mistake and that bobble from Miller. You're on board here. Then Morgan, as he brings on down around out of turn 1, back down in turn 2 here. And War Daddy gets a little loose there, unfortunately, and loses a heck of all momentum. And then Morgan sees the opportunity around Miller time. He's looking for the daily double.
He got it too. The 42 is trying to come back around. I just don't think he can make a stick down there.
He seems that got him going there. He gets it on around out of turn 4 here. He makes the pass on by, and Morgan gets a nice jump around that 42 machine.
I can definitely tell you right now that these drivers are overthinking this track. When you overthink this track in particular, you tend to make a lot of mistakes, as we've seen so far. Because they're too worried about hitting the braking zones just right every lap. And when you're too worried about hitting the braking zones, you can't hit your corner or your what they call apex correctly, which gets you in the wall off exit.
But wouldn't the same would be said, honestly, when you're running Martinsville, when you got that situation there, because there is a lot of times where you see the drivers kind of get all over the place there because of how they're trying to brake and how they're trying to set the car up. Honestly, that could be a big difference in what they're running on with New Hampshire. They're just trying to figure out how to key in both areas. That's Matt Parker, 77. And we'll talk about full throttle soul. He's got something going hard for him right now. He wants payback from earlier.
Yeah, he just put in that 4 fresh tires, so I expect to see him running some good quick lap times. But yeah, like you were saying, this track at Martinsville, basically the same with these long, flat corners, which is a NASCAR's driver's worst enemy. A long, flat corner.
That definitely is the case right now. With flat corners, you usually only talk about those so much as with you are when we're talking about the SK mods, or as everyone likes to know them as the modifieds. Those are really the ones that, you know, folks want to see those cars on and want to see them run on, because they're built to be pretty much flat down on the ground, kind of set up in a way like somewhat the late models, the super late models are. When you see them up on our circuits as well, like the way they're set up, it helps them kind of stay more low to the ground and gives them better cornering. Kind of what you would see in go-karts as well. That's one big thing that I think a lot of folks at home kind of forget, is that the way the weight shifts around inside and out on these stock cars and stuff, it's a lot different than when you don't really have much of a weight, but you have a frame that's kind of keeping you very low to the ground.
Yeah, you're exactly right. These things weigh a lot. They weigh a lot. And it's just hard to get this much weight going that fast to turn exactly how you want it every corner.
But that's the thing that makes it very unique and beautiful about these tracks as well, is it makes it more of a challenge for them to figure out, which in our case is fun to watch because it's really been a good battle and some strong action off the starts, but not so much right now because they're currently just kind of figuring the car out, and it's already kind of a little too late if you don't have enough tire on there to really get some tread going and build some momentum off for these guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily. We're just halfway through the second stage, so we still got plenty of time for some adjustments.
As they bring it on down around out of turn 2 there, though, you got a little bit of adjustment battle going between the real Jeff Long in the 6 and Kevin Baker as they were working on down, and Upset kind of get in there a little bit.
Yeah, so one car's trying to get around this 9 car. As the 6 just takes the 1 car out.
Continuing on.
The 6, 1, and 87 was all caught in that.
Oh, shoot. We had our cameras off for a minute there. We didn't quite catch it there, what went wrong there. Could you explain again what happened there, bud?
Yeah, so the 1 car got a nice run on the 9, but I was trying to stay off his bumper, so he slowed way up, and the 6 car just drove right through the back of the 1 car's bumper and just sitting spinning.
Yeah, I think Enough Said hasn't really had a fair shake at what he's been doing, what he's been battling with, because it seems like every time he's gone on ever since Auto Club, it just seems like something goes wrong or something just kind of comes up and gets into his way as you battle on through. And Morgan's definitely got something going for War Daddy here.
Yeah, well, thank goodness he won that race on Thursday, because he is advanced to the next run off that win. So he's definitely, this race is just for notes for next season, I would imagine.
I would definitely agree there, but I mean, still, I mean, when you're in these racing and you're in this stuff, I mean, as racers, the only thing you should ever be thinking about is trying to win. That's the whole objective when it comes to these things. I know the old bootleggers used to say that if you were able to be the fastest, that's how you won. Well, right now you got to figure out how to be just that. You got to be the fastest around here to beat these guys out. CJ Creaky getting back out on the track. He will take it on through down out of turn 2 here and back up onto the infield here.
looks like we have most of our guys coming to pit road.
Most of them have indeed. Hay bale has stayed out there. I think CJ Creaky only put 2 tires on his car there. I think he just wants to see if maybe he can stay ahead there.
Yeah, that may be the case. Going for a Hail Mary shot here to win stage 2.
So bringing on through here, we're back up and around here, and the real Jeff Long and that 6 machine trying to build up some momentum here, getting on through. As Parkhurst as well here kind of teams it on through. They battled on through. Parkhurst has been out there for quite a while. He's just trying to get his laps back and time back, but I gotta believe sooner or later he's gonna have to get back in there for fuel, unfortunately.
Yeah, that wreck earlier really ruined his strategy and his race. But the cost will come out. It'll bring them all back better. We'll see how it has to unfold here when we go to stage 3.
So there's definitely time, and time up for grabs here. As Miller time in that 42 is spun on out at turn 2 here. He's just waiting for the drivers to get by him here.
Yeah, that 42 car's just lost it.
Yeah, he was looking pretty good earlier, but as of late he's been struggling really badly. It's hard to try to figure out like what went wrong exactly, but at the moment it's definitely been that. Not a lot of battles going on right now at the moment. A lot of the drivers just kind of getting situated out here, but enough said, having a little bit of fun here at Parkhurst. We haven't put much on the gear wrench #1 machine, but he's definitely been the guy that we've talked about earlier, and just how he's been running his line, running his races. He just really, in our opinion, and like what you said earlier, just kind of stay focused on just getting ready for next week.
Yes, he is. He's just, like you referred earlier, every driver wants to win, but when the events unfold and you just don't have the car to win, at that point you just try to take it lap at a time and then learn what you can learn, so when you race this track again you can be better and not deal with the mistakes or whatever you had in this race. And also just to try to get as many points as possible to take it to the next round.
Indeed, indeed. And right now, as we continue it on through here, enough said, doing his own thing. Everyone working on by. And Morgan now battling in there with the 8 there. War Daddy still holds his own against Dan Morgan there. He's been fighting all season long just to get to this moment. And obviously, War Daddy, he was fighting, but an old rival, an old friend of his might have just showed up there. He's right by the 87.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see any retaliation in this race unless he gets put out of it. As 87 just bumps to 17 right up there.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think he's trying to make friends out there. He just went right into Morgan there in the 17, and Morgan just took a nice little lick and a half there as they coming on down, but it doesn't seem to phase him. War Daddy slowed down quite a bit here, but then Morgan sways way too hard on the throttle. Or does he? He gets the momentum there out at turn 2 here. He's fighting it back here. War Daddy's got company yet again.
Yeah, I think that 17 right there just squeezed the 87 down on the apron to say, hey, I didn't like the way you just hit me on my quarter panel, so hope you can hold on to it down here on the apron.
He definitely pushed him off there a little bit, so I think that kind of opened the door up here a bit for him to kind of get used to that. As they're working on back down around here, and Morgan still desperately just trying to make a move around War Daddy, but War Daddy's holding the bottom line, which seems to be the faster of the two compared to what he's trying to do. The tires might have burned up too much for Morgan to get around the situation and get up into with their War Daddy there.
Yeah, he is. This is actually a really good battle right here between the 8 and 17 car, War Daddy and Morgan.
It definitely is indeed. And you can see as they bring it on through here, War Daddy again, really fighting for everything it's worth here, really doing everything he's got when it comes to these races and everything. But unfortunately, he's just not had the best season. And obviously with that one little incident there, that one race, it just kind of cost him the rest.
Yeah, that's why I don't think we'll see retaliation, because he's currently running 3rd. And I don't think he was going to give up that track position just to wreck a guy. I think if he doesn't make the playoff cutoff line, of the playoffs, the next round, I do believe the next race we will see him in the 87 tingle quite a bit.
Well, let's hope not. I mean, you want to at least try to keep it somewhat respectful and civil, but you know, you never can be too sure with these racing these days. But right now in Morgan, that 17, definitely giving War Daddy a run for his money here. War Daddy knows he needs to stay in this, though.
Yes, he does. He definitely has a lot more common sense just to blankly wreck a guy, but I definitely think he wants payback.
I mean, I've always been said, if I'm going to do payback, I'll do it off the track, or I'll do it on the track by staying farther ahead from him and winning it, so. There's one thing to work him on down out of turn 3 and 4. I think it was one. I think I could tell you a little bit of a story here. Well, these guys kind of get situated out here, and that was had a driver that was very kind of in a similar situation, had a good sized lead on it, and then unfortunately we had one of the drivers ended up blowing the tire there and ended up getting right into one another, and it cost them their chance to even win the playoff race and the championship entirely. And the next season, that driver just came back out, and he won almost every single race. He won like 8 out of the 10 races leading up to the championship, and just absolutely dominated who spun him out every time. And I think the closest they ever got was 1st and 7th out of a 20-car field. They just never, ever got close to one another ever again. They were always separate. And that driver told me right when we were broadcasting for him, was like, man, I didn't care if he was there anymore. It was just like, I just want to stay ahead of him to show my retaliation.
Yeah, we definitely have that, but this was a blatant wreck. Blatantly just took the 8-car out. That's what the issue. Like a mechanical failure, it sucks, and I think you could just live to the next day. But to be blatantly took out by a car 3 laps down when you're first and have a really good lead over the field, I think there's only one way to solve that solution, in my opinion. It's just to take the guy out.
I would say that right now, because Wolf in that 11 machine about took out the War Daddy in the 8 and the 17 of Ben Morgan there, as War Daddy swings it straight back down to the bottom here, bringing it on back around here. They get into it here a little bit. War Daddy ends up holding his own, runs his line in, as in Morgan challenges up yet again.
Yes, he's way up outside the grid, but he should get a nice little run off. He just doesn't get good enough.
Definitely there indeed. And again, like, we're also just kind of refreshing real quick on the retaliation situation. I'm not saying that if, you know, someone was able to, it got done like that and they went back out and did it again, that it should be unfair. I think that's all fair game, but I always, in my opinion, also kind of what the story was explaining, is that I always like the idea of just flat out sticking it to them by literally making sure they never get anywhere near winning it or ever doing anything close to it again, for even doing that to you in the first place. And honestly, that was probably one of the better times I've ever heard of retaliation, because literally that right before they went to that championship race, everything seemed cool and good, but after that, nah, it's like a whole another level just triggered, and practice was like the only thing that driver thought about for each time out. And I think honestly they may be running the Pro Series these days. It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody has their own form of retaliation. As we all know, my opinion on it, I did. It's always not the best to just bluntly wreck a guy. But you got to do it at the right time, in the right moment, and when it makes sense. You're not just going to start up and just go wreck a guy for no reason.
Definitely agree with that one there, but again, it's a bit of a gray subject. Everyone has a different opinion on it. We're all black and white on something, so.
Yeah, he fixed the wall here, so that should give the 17 a little bit more time to try to get around him.
If that's the case here, he's jetting it, but War Daddy's just blocking right now. A little push there sends War Daddy right into the wall, and Morgan backs off there, trying to let him give some time to recoup so he can actually have a race here. Definitely is the case here, but War Daddy seems to be alright. He's not too hurt from that. But bring him on down around and continue it on through.
We're coming to 6 laps left in the stage. That was a really good thing the 17 just did. Most drivers would have just put that bumper to him and just drove right under him. But you see the level of respect these drivers have for one another, for the 17 to back off the gate, letting regain itself.
Well, I mean, what I was kind of trying to get the point out from earlier is that even though you heard what you heard earlier, that doesn't necessarily mean like all drivers in here are bad. It's just some things are just a little bit over their heads, and no one really thinks about what the situation is going to call for later when it's all done. But everyone always comes in with the same mindset. They want to win, but they will be respectful on what the situation is and where they're going with it. And really, I think it was just a matter of diverse opinion on how the one, ended up taking the other one out, and that was just unfortunately how it went for them. But was it right? No, not in any way. But at the same time, these drivers definitely will always come in with the same mindset. We're here to win, but we need to be very respectful and try to give each other a chance. That's what we're all working towards. As Ed Morgan, that 17 works on around.
As the 17 just got kind of held right underneath the 8, so he didn't get a drive off that he would have liked to. I do believe the 17 is a lot faster than the 8 right now. The 8's just making it really hard for him to pass.
Sometimes you gotta do that though. Sometimes you just gotta try to defend off and keep your driver out of your way there. And in this case, if you can keep holding their line, keep holding your spot, as long as you ain't slamming the brake on them on some kind of turn or a back stretch or front stretch, to me that's fair play. That's always racing.
Yeah, it is. The way I would put it when I was behind the wheel, I would do what I had to do to come into 2 laps or 1 lap to go in the stage to try to win the stage in good extra position. And the white flag lap, to me, anything goes. Anything absolutely goes in the white flag lap. If you're in second and you need a win, a bump and run never hurt nobody. Yes, the guy's going to be upset, but it's the white flag lap. You come into a checkered flag to a win, which is a rare occasion these days.
I mean, I don't disagree with the idea of a bump and run. Honestly, it's not exactly the best way to do it, in my opinion. But it is also, kind of what comes with the package of racing. Sometimes you just got to deal with these things, and it's definitely been the case here for these drivers and all around. But in my opinion, I haven't really seen too much of that bump and run action or issues, because everyone just seems like they're just trying to be more respectful, kind of run their own race and play fair all the way through. But I mean, eventually, when he gets that championship, you might see all bets coming off here and the gloves coming off, because some of them are definitely going to be wanting to win this one.
Oh yes, no doubt. Especially as we get closer to the end of the season, I especially think we're going to see a lot more aggressive races. At 51, he's losing a lot of time here.
Lost a lot of time as our stage winner, Hay Bale, has already come across the finish line here. That will pretty much wrap it up for him here on stage 2 here. I believe he ended up, I think it was him that also took stage 1, wasn't it?
Yes, he's dominating so far.
It's only early though. There's only so many points you get in the stages. That main final is where you really want it. So let's see how that one plays out for him. The rest of the field has parked it on in. They have finished their laps up. Some of them have ended up getting a few laps in. Top 5, Hay Bale, WARD, or War Daddy, and Morgan, CJ Creaking, and RY85. And then everyone on back is 1 lap or 2 laps down, which that tells you a lot right there.
The 9 car will be the free pass if he gets his lap back, and then we have 4 more other cars either 1 or 4 laps down.
So as they get situated out and ready to go yet again, this will definitely be a telling of the tale of who will get where and who will get what. But you can definitely tell the damage up on some of these cars here is just tremendous. Miller Time and it looks like the Wolf have both pitted in here, and Hay Bale will be the one to start them up, as in Morgan will stay out there with them. We are a green flag here for our final stage, and this is going to be tremendous battling here if they want to get into the playoffs.
The 8 thought about taking the 3 wide, but he knows better than to do that on lap 1 of the final stage.
Indeed he does. 56 laps left in this one here. They're bringing it on down, but I don't think he thought too much about trying to make it around Hay Bale for the lead here. He brings it on through, carries the momentum around, now finally getting some momentum on down by as CJ Creaky challenges him up on in here. He's making a hard charge up to the front. They're all battling through for the same thing, but everyone's doing it a different way. As you see the battles coming through, Hay Bale and CJ Creaky getting in there for second, while in Morgan there in the 17 has to do battle there with the 77 of Matt Parkhurst. You got 4 drivers working it on in, trying to see who's going to get what. And then you got War Daddy in the 8, unfortunately just getting right up into the tail zone there as he brings on down around. He's fighting through as hard as he can, But he just got a lick and a half there and a little love tap there to Hay Bale in the 20.
I think what happened to the 8 car is he went way up out in the groove and hit one of them seams and then sent his car right up to the wall. And because when he was in the wall, I didn't see nobody around him.
So Research 20 Hay Bale machine has tried to fight it on through. The Toyota Camry is in trouble of being passed up. He already has his Ward Daddy in the Tame the Beast gets his move.
Yeah, so I would like to see how strong this 8 car is now that he has this good air.
We'll see how it is and how it goes, because I mean you can't count out Matt Parker's. He was one that was dominating earlier, and right now, even though it goes right up into the wall there, he's been kind of figuring out how to get the car recentered on gravity there.
This race is basically, I don't want to say
oh shoot, I was about to say
he's 3 laps down, so I don't see him coming back from it. I think there was a lag in the lobby.
I was about to say that had to have been a lag, because I thought the 20 there was literally just putting a break to the 77 to end his night, but nope, not the case in this case. But that was crazy to look at there.
So like, I never want to say a guy is out of it, but when you have a league that races good as clean as they do and have as much long green flag runs as this league does, being 3 laps down on New Hampshire and there's no cautions, it's kind of hard to get the laps back.
It definitely is indeed, but right now as they're kind of working on through here at turn 4, you can see that Hay Bale is just giving it what he's got here for Ward Daddy. And as we mentioned earlier, kind of, I guess if you will, in a way, it's kind of what it is for Kevin Baker. I think this might just be kind of a learning lesson for him here, just to kind of figure out how to take it into the next week. Because every time you're out on the track, you know, we're always learning new things, or we're learning how certain things go down or how drivers are. And I think in all honesty, at this track, this is honestly a very huge learning curve if you've never gone from the super speedways of Michigan and Daytona and Talladega. Now you're going to a flat surfaced area like here or Martinsville. That definitely tells you a lot about who can master what. So bring it on down around. Hay Bale makes a big jump there on Ward Daddy.
He should be able to clear him here, as he's going to go back up and try to make that white diamond and get that nice run off.
He definitely is indeed. CJ Creaky's in the hunt now, though. He brings that Hot Rod Rowdy 51 machine up and around. The 2 Toyota Camrys battle it on through.
Yes, they do. The thing about this in Martinsville, it's all about throttle control. Throttle control and brake control.
Definitely agree to that here, but as they continue to go on around, not a lot of battles coming back here as they work them on through, but in Morgan still is kind of in that hunt there with the 77 Matt Parkhurst. Parkhurst is not giving him any chances here, but in Morgan definitely needs at least another top 5. So I wouldn't even really be worrying too much about Parkhurst. I'd just be more worried about keeping RY85 behind me here.
Well, only way I would be worried about the 77 is if the 77 is loose off the exit and wrecks at 17, which 77 is racing hard to get at least one of his laps back.
He definitely is, man. It's interesting to see how he's been kind of hanging in there, kind of doing what he needs to do when time comes by and where he needs to be. And right now, I mean, I don't know what the heck Hay Bale's got in that 20 Toyota Camry, but he just keeps throwing it out for going out for a burger and fries and finding some Kobe beef out of this thing, or a steak and baked potato. He just finds the good stuff right here.
Yeah, yes, he does. And as we notice, or as I've noticed, DJ Creaky has a good short and middle run car. As we noticed, in the last stage after the pit stops, he just fell way off. Ended up coming from 2nd or 4th in the stage. And I think Hay Bale understands that, hey, he doesn't have a car that can keep up at the same pace I can keep up with a full fuel run. So I think he's using it to his advantage right now.
So RI-85 definitely seems to be thinking about taking the advantage of something here with 46 laps left. He's going to work it on in there within Morgan here. And Morgan doing everything he can to keep RY-85 behind him here. But the run is just tremendous here from RY. He's just bringing it on in as hard as he can to get around in Morgan. And Morgan is just doing everything he can to defend him off and keep him out of his sight and out of mind. He wants that top 5 finish, but RY definitely wants to get back into the hunt here.
Yep, he does. This is actually a really good clean battle. As it turned not so clean just then, as the 19 kind of just doors the 17. I don't think it was intentional, as he just gives the spot right back.
I was about to say, I don't think everything's intentional here on this track, because this track is just hard to master in the first place. Enough said going in there with that Ozel boy in the number 9 machine. both drivers right now. Unfortunately, right now a lap down, except for Oozle Boy, I should say.
Yes, I think Oozley, he just got his lap back.
Seems to be the case here. Enough said, though. Kind of doing his own thing, just kind of working on through. But yeah, you can definitely tell that Oozle Boy, man, he's, I don't want to call him like a box of chocolates, but he is pretty much a box of chocolates, because there's times like I don't know what I'm going to get with him. He can be very strong on his runs and have a really good battle with some folks, and then he could just be like he literally is trying to figure the track out for the first time, unfortunately, and the car is just not gripping the way he wants to. That's probably the best way I have to explain him. And I'm trying to keep it on a professional level. It's keeping it humorous, but that's kind of like the way if I think of that Oozle Boy is he's just kind of like my box of chocolates. I never know what the heck I'm gonna get with him.
Yeah, he's good at some tracks, and some tracks this one is, as you guys can see, this is not one of his best tracks. As he's holding off for dear life in each corner. The 19 is way up in the groove and hits the wall.
I think Morgan might have tagged him there a little bit here. You saw the momentum kind of came on through there, and Morgan takes it over there. But RY right back on the attack here, so we'll see how they come into these corners here and which one's going to take the other one in. But I think honestly RY is going to race him as clean as he can within Morgan there, and then Morgan's going to race as clean as they can there. But, you know, there's always an old saying you're racing and I've always gone by, and that's rubbing is racing. So even if you kind of tag each other a little bit, as long as it ain't excessive, it's always good racing to the end.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Rubbing is racing to a certain extent. You don't want to just keep knocking a guy into the wall every lap. I mean, like, oh, that's rubbing is racing. You know, about the third time you do it, the way I would look at it, you're intentionally putting me into the wall. So the next time you get around me, you best believe I'm going to hit your bumper and send you to the wall.
I mean, there's a reason why Dale Earnhardt Sr. was always known as that intimidator, or the guy that, you know, kind of was on your tail all the time. Like, yeah, he had times where he spun folks on around, but here's the thing, man. He always had a fight underneath him. He always had that thing in him that just said flat out, I'm gonna do everything I can if it means becoming a champion, but I'm never gonna try and screw somebody over just because I need a win. He always did what he needed to do.
I was about to say, I don't ever recall a time where Dale Sr. just deliberately wrecked somebody, other than Terry Labonte, and we all know the rivalry there. But other than that, I don't think he's ever just deliberately just wrecked somebody because, hey, I'm the intimidator and you're in my way. He would hit the bumpers and get them up out of the groove, but that's just saying I'm faster than you and I want the spot. But it wasn't dirty racing. But a lot of people like to say it was.
Right, and I bring that up right now as we watch him on through with Haybale kind of doing battle here with that 87 there, Kevin Baker. I kind of bring that up though because we've had times where people have kind of tried to, you know, say, you know, certain drivers are kind of like what Dale Earnhardt Sr. was. The thing is that there really will never be a Dale Earnhardt Sr., whether it was, either it's Kyle Busch or Chase Elliott or whoever they talk about these days. Because the thing is, Sr. had that style and mindset of he was going to be aggressive and run his race. And yeah, he would get into you a little bit and kind of make sure you know he's there. But that's just the old guard mentality. That's what racing was all about. And yeah, like you said, Labonte, he did what he needed to do to win, but a lot of folks didn't see it that way, and they did not like that at all. But, you know, that's just the way racing is. You love them or you hate them. There is no in between. That's racing.
Well, you got to remember, that was like 23 years ago, and racing's came a long way from back then to now what it is today.
Oh, I can definitely agree there, but I mean, at the same time, like, there's still a little bit of that mentality. I mean, I think that still goes with it.
Oh yeah, definitely still in some drivers. Like I'm a reference Jimmy Johnson. He's won his 83 races and the 7 championships as clean as possible. I don't recall any point in his career where he's actually gone out and wrecked somebody. I know him and Kurt Busch had a little beef in the early 2000s.
I think he's looking it up right now, trying to figure out like when exactly was the kerfuffle right now, folks. As we bring it on down around, though, RY85 is still battling in hard within Morgan, that 17 machine.
I'm sorry. I thought you were saying. I thought you were saying there was a wreck on the track. I was switching to the cameras to see if there was.
Oh no, I was saying basically like a kerfuffle, a scruffle is basically like what you were trying to say, like with what Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Busch was going through there. But I mean, that's all right. We were still focusing in on the race here, of course, and of course we got a lot of drivers just kind of spread apart here and doing their own thing. But I mean, I think one thing I'll just end this kind of conversation with, though, on that part is just, even though folks want the old guard mentality, you know, the old stock car days and everything to be brought back, I mean, you have to understand two things here. Yeah, what safety has pretty much been the biggest criterion, crucial area to make sure that drivers stay okay and stay safe, and I always will say that to the end of my days. But at the same time, though, with that being said, you still, in my opinion, to keep things interesting and to keep things, you know, somewhat entertaining, is to at least have some aggressive times and aggressive moments. But they really don't set the cars up that way anymore to really give them that opportunity.
No, yeah, and I don't know if no, I've never driven professionally. I've driven in races in hundreds and hundreds of league races on this game. But I know, coming from the driver's seat on the game to the broadcast booth, I would much rather see all the aggressive racing possible, because I know it's fun for the viewers to watch. But being behind the wheel, I don't want none of that. It just makes me hot and bothered, and I can't focus on the race.
But that's kind of also the main thing of like kind of understanding the mentality versus figuring out how to get around the situation. To me, the best kind of drivers are those that can keep the cool head, that can understand the situation, and they're able to work around, you know, those times and needs. That to me is what makes a good racer, is their skill behind the wheel to stay under pressure and calm, and to be able to really maintain a good level of uniqueness and steady and pacing when it comes to these races.
Yes, definitely. Like you say, the best racer is a racer who can overcome adversity early on in a race, or who can just be level, cool-headed throughout a race. Because we all know mistakes are going to happen through a race, whether you're speeding on pit road, you get tagged by a lap car. So how you handle the very next event is what's going to determine your legacy on the track.
Definitely agree with that right now, considering the legacy that's been left behind. I think Abel at this point has just been kind of doing his own thing, doing his own way here, and it's definitely been the guy that everyone's been trying to get up to. But the Reese's number 20 machine is going in pit road now.
Yeah, and I did talk with a few of these guys before the races, and Abel definitely said he has put hours upon hours on this track. This is one track where he wanted to win. He felt like the only way he could get to Championship 4 is winning this race, and he has showed how much he's practiced so far today.
Definitely indeed there as the beast, the A-War Daddy right now. He was really hard on the throttle and really doing his own thing earlier, but right now it looks like that seems to be less of the case as we're rolling in our last few laps here. Time's running out for these drivers.
Yeah, I definitely believe we're starting to see some live pit stops as the leader's coming down, and I believe everybody else will be behind him. But as you were referring to the gate early on in the run, I just don't think anybody has the pace that they can keep up with a 20 car for the whole fuel run. He is running the fastest lap times for a whole fuel run.
Definitely say that is the case here, and of course you got the real Jeff Long right now, just kind of staying out, doing his own thing. He's just probably thinking maybe he's going to have a better chance here to get some momentum built up for later as he continues on through here. I mean, that's one thing, though, I will say, though, with these drivers and everyone at home, is that, you know, when you're seeing these guys on the track, and it don't matter if you're in iRacing, Wreckfest, or, you know, NASCAR Heat 5, 4, or wherever you're racing right now, or even Project Cars, everything is different every time. Zone, every little spot makes the difference on trying to become a champion and how you take your own advantages and how you run these lines, because this track, honestly, on a different area could be a whole different battleground, a whole different line that you wouldn't even think of or think twice about. So for what I will tell you right now, try and step into these guys' shoes here, and then possibly go and do something, and then probably step into another track and see if you have the same feel and same idea on how to hit it every time, because eventually you're going to realize something changes or something's different where you have to make adjustments on the fly. And these guys right now are just desperately trying to figure out how to do just that with 27 laps to go.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And one good thing about this particular game is they have added the test race features, so you can take your setup and your car and you can just run all day and test and test. You can test for a short run, test for a long run or a medium run. I know before I became up here in the broadcast, when I was racing in all the leagues, I would just spend 4 or 5 hours a day on the same track, running hundreds and hundreds of laps. So I know whatever event happened, I knew what setup to go through at the very next. I would try to get everything knocked out. And that's different from real NASCAR these days, because there's no testing allowed, so you just have to bring what you have to bring to the track.
Which to me, in all honesty, kind of makes it for a little bit of a less of a kind of a better of a two evils in all honesty. Because when I grew up, it was always you studied the track by getting on the track and feeling it. Now, granted, yeah, you could still kind of do that, because obviously you'll talk about the NASCAR folks. They'll go over and they'll race simulators and stuff, mainly iRacing. But the biggest thing compared to this is what they're doing right now. Is that, to me, the best way to keep, you know, drivers clear and cool, and also make sure that they can put on a show so they have the fastest times, fastest everything, is for them to go out and practice. And in my opinion, also at times just have everyone get together and see like where everyone goes. And even if they play mind games with you and see who's faster than who, it still shows you, you know, what's going down and, you know, how to get faster, what they need to do to get better at that track, so everyone has a fair shake at it. To me, that's what it needs to be.
Yes, and I'll refer to that. If any of you viewers out there listen to the Dale Jr. download, you need to listen to the Jimmy Johnson episode. The very first episode, Jimmy Johnson's on there, and he talks about how him and Chad won the 7 championships was because Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday they was out testing every week, so they knew what to expect on a track. And as you see, the struggles that Jimmy Johnson's had lately because the testing is no longer allowed. So that was definitely one of the advantages for the 48 team.
It definitely was indeed, and right now it seems to be the advantage with these drivers here up on the simulators and on NASCAR Heat 5. Obviously, it's definitely being a big factor here to try to get a win here for these drivers. They need to start figuring things out quicker and get better at this, because this last bit of these races here, I mean, I don't know how much longer we'll have to broadcast for them after these times, but you know, 22 laps left to go here. There's definitely a lot going through for these drivers on maintaining a win here.
Yes, definitely. As Haybell has this thing figured out, I do believe. I want to see. I think we might have one more pit stop to see if CJ can make a swing full of fences. And I don't.
I'm not seeing that right now.
I don't. Yeah, I think this is going to be my last stop, another little caution. So.
Yeah, they've got enough fuel, in my opinion, to at least have 1 or 2 laps spared up. I think CJ Creaky's the only chance he's got right now, though, is he's got to start figuring out how to corner a little bit harder to get around to there, that 20 of Haybale. Haybale is just right now in a different zone.
And the thing is, like, the one thing that CJ, the 51 car, CJ is struggling with, he don't want to just get up right on the 20 car and use all of his stuff and then have 5-10 laps to go and have nothing for the end of the race to get around the 20. But he has made up a lot of ground after the pit stops on this 20 car.
Oh, and a little bit of a tap there from Ed Morgan, a little bump and run we've talked about earlier there on the real Jeff Long. That 6 machine of that Jeff Long, he just got rammed in a little bit hard there from Morgan. Obviously it didn't look intentional because he got it backed off a little bit, but kind of the bump and run, if you will, and it just kind of took away the momentum that Jeff Long had there on Ed Morgan.
Yeah, and I don't think the 6th car is on the lead lap.
So he might just been backing off there, of course, but you can never be too sure there. We don't have a camera roll here or a scoreboard. We usually do up on Facebook or on YouTube for other exclusive action here. But, yeah, you know what? It's NASCAR Heat. They'll figure it out eventually. But nevertheless, they bring it on down around. RY still dealing with that 9 of that Oozle boy. Oozle will just continue to try to get something figured out if he can.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Sorry, I'm watching this battle for the lead here. CJ Creaky is closed way up on Haybell.
He has indeed. He brings on down out of turn 2 here. Haybell's currently just defending off. 2 big Toyota Camrys going to go at it here as they continue on through. Can Creaky finally get around Haybell and finally end the winning streak he has in this race? He's been stage 1 and 2 winning. Now he wants the final stage. But Creaky says otherwise. He wants to pass him on around. He's just trying to build it up here.
Most definitely, and he's looking to the outside. I don't believe he can clear him coming off.
No, it doesn't look like he's going to clear him there. He's going to get the momentum, but he's not going to be able to get the pass made He'll bring it on down around here, swinging on by down out of turn 3. Haybale opens the door wide open. He's trying to be a thief in the night. He is Creaky. He brings it on through. Haybale has to back off a little to get it centered up, and Creaky finally gets a jump on him there. He'll take over for that position, but will we see the crossover come?
I don't think that's the type of racer Haybale is, but we do have some lap cars up front. Let's see how they get around them.
Let's see how it is indeed. Rarwai currently is in trouble. Big damage up on that front end. He was clean a minute ago. That Ozel boy and him might have got into it a little bit there, unfortunately. It has happened before here on the show. We've seen it happen. But right now, Haybale makes a clear pass around. So did Creaky there, so both drivers will be okay.
Well, definitely. It's just heartbreaking for the 20 car. He's had so much bad luck, and he was dominating this whole race, and I gotta believe right now in the driver's seat he's just stunned. Well, I would like to see how he can battle back here.
I'm not really thinking he's stunned. I think, in all honesty, he's probably actually playing a little bit smarter because he played in a lot later than CJ Creaky did. So, in my opinion, those Creaky made an adjustment that able to get the tire to set up a little bit better. I honestly think that honestly will play more into his favor.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like you say, we're not able to keep track of who pits when and how many tires and all they take like you would see in an iRacing broadcast or a NASCAR broadcast. We're just able to call the tools we're given. So
the tools are given and what we have to work with, and I'd say right now for what we're working with, I don't think it's too bad. Matt Parker's right now catching up there on the 19 of Rarway 85. He's definitely getting some momentum here as he comes on around out of turn 2 here, diddling up what he can here. Trying to get that advent help. 77 around his position here. We're running low on laps here. We're down to the final 12.
Yes, it's Haybale saying to put some pressure on the 51 car.
Yep, we've got the cameras on him right now. CJ Creaky goes a little wide. Haybale sees the opening. He wants it. He wants it. Can he get the run? They are side by side for this one down on that turn 2 here, battling on through with only about 11 laps after this one. The 10 lap to go marker comes, and then you know there's definitely going to be a lot more aggression towards these drivers. But Haybale and Creaky, the two front runners this season, have been the guys that everybody wants to beat, and they really wanted to take on this entire run in time by.
Yes, 100%, most definitely. As the 20 does end up getting around the 51, and 51 scrapes the wall, so that's definitely going to help the 20 car kind of maybe drive away.
Well, it looks like that's going to be the case because honestly, that draft is really the only thing, in my opinion, that's keeping Creaky in this. Haybale, I mean, say it for what you will, but if you look very carefully where he's playing his line at, you see those little lines in there, almost what you'd see on the actual roads. You can see him actually stay in that middle lane, the second lane, and really he's only barely came up into that third lane a little bit and the first lane when he needs to tighten it back up to get that run off the slingshot momentum of that diamond, if you will.
Yeah, what he's doing right now is he's making that back straightaway as long as possible. And that's really what you want to do on a track like this in Martinsville. Just make that back straightaway as long as possible. The both straightaways as long as possible. So what that does is help your runoffs. And it's also going to cause the number 2 car to move a line and use more of this stuff to try to get around you.
We've always talked about making a track shorter and trying to make a track, you know, less long in length, but I mean, what you're saying though, to the fans at home that may be kind of getting confused on what we're meaning, is that obviously when you're getting into these turns here, you want to have as much momentum as you can get through, but also you want to try to corner off of that as well to carry the momentum that you got from the straightaways, so that way the car can get some runs there. But the biggest thing that you have to worry about though, as we mentioned earlier, is just that tire conservation versus tire wear. And in my opinion right now, Creaky is finally starting to show his colors on how much he was burning him up just to get around Haybale.
Yes, definitely. And the fact that he pitted about, what was it, 4 or 5 laps before Haybale?
It was 1 lap before Haybale.
Yeah, so definitely shows how much Haybale saved for this last little run and how much Creaky used to get around the 20.
I think I mentioned it before, I'll say it again. Haybale, in my opinion, played a much smarter strategy when it came to how long he stayed out and how long he needed to be, and Creaky may have honestly kind of put himself into a bit of a pickle because of that.
Yeah, definitely a pickle on the race win, but he's on points alone. He should be very well advanced into the final four. You don't know what'll happen for the next 3 races to get there, but
at this case right now, though, I think Abel really could care less about the points. He just wants to finally put it back into victory lane and get himself something he's been looking for a long, long time. And he's definitely doing all that and then some here. We're coming on down the last few laps here. 4 laps remain this time by. Abel went into the wall though at turn 4. That might have just been the death note. No pun intended to Funimation there. The 51 there, CJ Creaking Rowdy might have just found his way around.
Yeah, he didn't lose too much time. Lost a lot more time than what he wanted, but it looks like he's got another about a car and a half gap.
I wouldn't say that right now. Creaky's just currently building up momentum. That's what we were worried about here. That's what we're thinking here. He comes on around here. Haybale has opened the door wide open. Creaky just closed it again. He went into the wall himself. And that just may have sealed both of their fates here on who's going to finish who here. But it's hard to tell because anything can happen these last few laps here. We're coming on down to the last 3 laps. Haybale is moving around a lot. He's starting to get loose there on those corners. Hey, CJ Creaky, if he can find something here, he has a chance to steal this one from him.
Yes, he most definitely does have a chance to steal one from the 20 car. Is this going to be an exciting finish, this?
2 laps left in this one. CJ Creaky is building up momentum. He's trying to get one last run. The green flag is high in the air. Next time by, we switch it to the white. Creaky gets a little loose there out of turn 2. He builds momentum back up. He's trying, and he is fighting for all it's worth here.
Yeah, that 51 car is just putting everything he has to get around the 20.
He's putting the pedal to the metal, trying to get the hot rod Rowdy Energy machine up and about. White flag is out. Can Haybale hold off? You got a good look right here. You can see Creaky kind of sneaking his way across, but the difference is Haybale had a much better corner off that as Creaky goes right into the wall. He just needs one more good entry. He's obviously got the exits pretty much down, but here comes Creaky to the inside. Does he have time? No, it's not going to be. Haybale in the number 20 is going to take home a win after a long drought. Finally, the 20 racers number Haybale has finally put it back into victory lane.
Yes, that is a huge weight lifted off of that 20 car. I would believe. What an excellent race by him. And I want to give props to the 51 also for figuring out a way to keep up with him.
Definitely indeed there. It was a good battle and a good showcase of these drivers and what they're capable of. And we also just want to give you guys a quick little heads up here that, you know, Red Limit Racing is also looking for drivers out there for the next season, Season 3. So if you guys are interested, just saying, you know, these guys are pretty good if you're in the NASCAR heat stuff.
Yeah, they are. My seat is up for grabs. Nobody's filled that one yet.
So our top 10, Haybale going to go in first, Creaky second, War Daddy third, fourth goes to In Morgan, then the 17, the 9 to Bad Oozle Boy, RY85 and 6, 77 Matt Parker, 7th, 8 to Enough Said, 9th to the real Jeff Long, 10th to Kevin Baker, 11th to Wolf, and 12th to Miller Time.
It's insane that there is only 4 cars on the lead lap. That shows you how fast these guys are.
That just shows you how crazy you can get too sometimes. But nonetheless, folks, that's going to really wrap it up here tonight. We're going to call it a night and call it a day. Jay Love, thanks for joining me here again, bud. It was a good time talking with you here. And hopefully next time we get on by, we see some just as more crazy action as these Rev Limit boys are. I think we got one more race, and then it's come to the championship 2 weeks from now.
Yes, I do believe so. I call the races on Thursdays, so... We both do the Mondays now. I just hope the championship race is on a Monday so we can both call it.
I hope so too, but we'll see how it plays out. But nonetheless, folks, that's going to really wrap it up here for you tonight here on PTM Racing TV. So from all of us here, thank you again for tuning on in. We love you. Thank you again. Be sure to tune up over on Facebook tomorrow. We'll be back with the iRacing series as our boys in the Champion Power Equipment Fast and Fun Cup series will go back at it. They travel on down. I believe hold on a minute, we kind of got a brain fart here. I don't remember where they're going. Hold on just a minute. Oh, they're heading down to Richmond. So if you guys liked what you saw there, the ARCA series, just imagine the Cup series down there. We will catch that all tomorrow night. But from all of us here at PTM Racing TV, and from Jay Love to Christian the Crusader Striver, be safe, God bless, take care, good night everybody.